moment to answer?
By all means.
Another reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seems as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. The testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. There was lightning. She was listening to music. She didn't hear anything. Okay, she said something right now. So it's not that she didn't hear anything, because right now she said that she was listening to music, but she said that there was lightning. Now, I don't know if it's what she's going for, but maybe the lightning wasn't actually the lightning, but it was the cable, you know, the electricity in the cable. Because I don't think there was lightning. I think it was just rain. So maybe let's go for that. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's that. This feels very... Okay, maybe it is. Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? That beginning felt very generic thing that you that you say when you're wrong.
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution... That's not what I was going for, Nia. Okay. Isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Oh. Okay, I guess everybody bought that. That's not what I was going for at all, but... Okay, where is this going?
I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was in fact the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Right, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty. I'm happy that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Faye. Huh? I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location. What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit. Affidavit? Whatever.
And who is this from?
the pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Okay.
However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Oh, well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor, I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
I mean... couldn't have been the umbrella, right? Okay, if it was the umbrella, that snap sound that Phoenix heard was the cable after all, and not actually just the umbrella, but it did specify, like, with very much certainty that the victim fell on top of the umbrella, so that would be a confusing, you know, order of events, like the umbrella snapping the cable and then the victim falling on top of the umbrella. I don't know, but like, what else? This is a very confusing question. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? Like, what else could it have been? Found broken near an electrical pole. It does specify that it was near an electrical pole. Because, like, what else could it have been? Unless you say that, because it says who or what was it. And, like, I mean, it could have been Dahlia, but we don't know that. We don't have any evidence to suggest that. We don't have any evidence to suggest any of them, like specifically the people. So, the umbrella is the only thing? Again, this feels very generic, so I don't... Maybe I made a mistake. This is it. This is where the cable snapped. Well, Your Honor. Yep, no. Okay. Oh. Ouch, that was harsh. Especially coming from him. But I really have no idea. Do we say Phoenix? I guess so. It's the only thing that makes even slightly... It doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense to me right now at the moment is the umbrella, but taking the umbrella out of the equation and Doug Swallow, the victim, as well, I guess Phoenix is the only other one that would make any sense. Anything else really doesn't fit anywhere. So I guess Phoenix, but why would I do that? This is just saying, you know, my defendant is actually guilty. What? What? Wait. Okay, I guess it was. Let's see where this goes. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that?
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. What's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See that umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into that far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order! Order in the court!
Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different when I remember them. What the? Please, just once more. May you please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge.
Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Okay then. The truth is, Feeny pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Ducky tried his best to run away from him, but Feeny got up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted. It all occurred in less than a minute. Okay, so many things wrong with that statement, but...
So, after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
I'm so sorry, Feeny, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are.
Fuck off.
Now then, Miss Faye, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
What I witnessed. Feeny really is scary when he gets mad.
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
Have you seen him? Oh, there it is. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. But found broken no. Phoenix's testimony was that the victim fell on top of his umbrella, not on the electrical pole. Although the electrical pole is something that I said, like Mia said. So, Olivia, can you please? For somebody so little, Olivia can do a lot of noise. And Dagi, oh, that's it. That's the one. The cable snapping and Dagi being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. That's the one. Because the death was at 3 p.m. and the student's testimony was at 2:55 p.m. So it couldn't have been in less than a minute. Your power cable broke due to some sort of impact on... But now I don't know which 1-2%. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. The cable snapping was at 2:55 p.m. So do I present the autopsy report? I think, right? I mean, maybe both would work in this situation. I'm not sure. But knowing Ace Attorney, I don't think so. I think it's only one that you need to... Let's try the autopsy report. It's not. Fucking hell, come on, it's the same thing! Well then, I guess it's this. Fucking, see what I mean? Knowing Ace Attorney, it's only gonna be one, even though both made sense in this situation. Isn't that right, Olivia? Can you stop, please? That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that's not even the picture that that's not what I presented. That could have also worked. I wonder if I presented this picture, it would have worked. Knowing Ace Attorney, it probably wouldn't have. And then it presented this. I mean, maybe, I don't know. The fact that, but even if it would have worked, I would have still been mad because there's two things that work, and it's not the autopsy report, in which it's the same thing. Like, it is exactly the same thing, right? Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3 or 5 p.m. So it's not what the autopsy report says either.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Faye?
I'm sure we've said that already, that the autopsy report is a little behind as well. I don't know. Whatever. I don't remember. My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Yeah! Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court.
What? This is nonsense! The real murderer! Even you can deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene was there a window of opportunity for the real killer.
Miss Faye? Is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor, we are ready.
Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye.
I mean, come on, there's no other option. Of course.
Now then, Miss Faye, let's have it. Who is the real killer?
Oh, why do you present me with the evidence? Of course, it was Dahlia's present. No, it couldn't have been anybody else but Marvin Grossberg. No, I mean, Dahlia Hawthorne. Who else could it have been? Like, there's not even another option. It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. How can you?
The defense is grasping at straws.
10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the man dearest to you.
Order! Order! Miss Faye! What? I mean, what? That is to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. How can you say something so mean, Madame Faye? I didn't do anything.
Miss Faye, this is a very serious charge.
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say.
You? What is it?
Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Faye. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that.
Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man.
Leave my Dolly alone. I'm assuming this is Grossberg.
That boy, he's gotten himself in way over his head.
Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
It seems I've arrived just in a nick of time. I found a police report of the incident in your newspaper clipping.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Grossberg. It almost makes up for what you're gonna do eventually. Almost. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
You'd better take a good look at it. The details why you came to lose your boyfriend.
And now we know that it was her boyfriend that was the victim in that case. Anyway.
Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation.
I do want to read the thing though, before Mr. Payne says anything about it. So, incident overview. Location, District Courthouse Cafeteria. Date and time, August 27th, 4 p.m. Victim, Diego Armando, 28. Occupation lawyer, suspect, Dahlia Hawthorne, age 19. Details. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's coffee cup. Yep.
Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor, that is, May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't you worry, my dear. I have this situation one in hand. That is, go right ahead. Madame Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet doggy? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead. How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Finny. The notion that I will try to frame him is ludicrous. This is just too much for poor little me to bear.
Oh, I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive will be.
The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must.